No! No! No!
Hello, all you ghosts out there. Welcome back to the Horror Pop Extravaganza. This is episode 49. I am Pops Ghostly. And with me today is
Greg Gugina.
Greg Gugina. Greg Gugina. The Guginas.
The Gugina.
Where does that hail from? Is that
Uh, it's Greek, actually.
okay?
Yeah.
So you got a Greek Gugina. I mean, right?
Yeah,
So,
you nailed it, dude.
I mean, and you got kids, you got little Guginas, you got a wife, you got another Gugina.
I
There's
got Granny Gugina.
Gugina. Ooh, Granny's a little, she's a little on the saggy side now.
Yeah, the Guginas run deep, though, dude. We're everywhere.
So deep. If you haven't left yet, we are uh, we are here to do it one more time to bring the macabre and the mindful together. And this week, as we had mentioned last week, we're going to try and be better about mentioning, hey, we're going to watch this thing next week. So, you know, or maybe even throw something up just so you're aware if you're interested. But we're going to talk about the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. And I screwed up a little bit on my part. I take full responsibility for my mistake. I told you, I was like, let's do episodes or Treehouse of Horrors 3 and 4. And you were like, sweet, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Well, when I went back and looked, I meant 3 and 6, not necessarily 4. And I don't have Disney Plus anymore because budget is everything right now and just scrape it. Not, I shouldn't say scraping, like things are okay. I don't want people to be worried about me like that. But um, the shit that's not necessary, just not having it right now. So I don't
Yeah.
have Disney Plus to watch it. I might have had it on VHS. I didn't go down and look. I have one little Simpsons 3-pack on VHS. And I think that the one of them has a Treehouse of Horrors or two, but I think it's the Raven. Either way, I looked at it and said, okay, what are the segments in this one? I remember a lot of these vividly, and they're about some of my favorite pop culture shit. So it's very easy for me to talk about. But if I do stumble a little bit, my guy, Mr. Gugina, Greg Gugina,
Greg
G,
Gugina.
G, but Gugina. It's the you got to get the goo in the front of the
Ooh, a Gugina. Let it drip off your lips. Gugina.
Bleh. Bleh. It's gross, dude. You're gross. Also, I'm trying my microphone a little bit further away now because when I looked at the last video, it was kind of sometimes like right in my face, and I feel like this might still be okay. I hope so. Who knows? Does it
Yeah,
look
we
good
can
on
see
your
your
side?
whole. I see your whole beautiful face. Yeah. Microphone's still in the shot, though. So,
Makes sense, right? I'm not fancy enough to have one of them big overhead things that comes down, and you just got one hanging right here. Like, yo,
not yet, dude. We got to have a place to grow, dude.
right. You're right. Not yet. So, The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror for me. I was born 82. This first one that we're going to talk about, episode 3, I did write it down, was October 29th, 1992. So this is one of the cool years when you actually got it before Halloween.
Right.
And it
Nice.
felt like Halloween, man. You had the weird Urkel episodes on whatever. What was that shit? TGIF used to run. I remember one with the evil Urkel or evil Steve, little Steve or some shit. He was like a little mannequin type dummy. And he came live and he was trying to get him. This was later, though. That was later in the seasons. But either way, The Simpsons, when the Treehouse of Horrors came on, it was always such an exciting event around my house. Me, my brothers, my sisters would be like, yes, let's gather around. My stepdad would be like, Treehouse or Simpsons is stupid. Like a lot of people, at this time, it really was like Simpsons mania.
Yeah, it
And
was fresh, dude. It felt so cool. And it was like, this was a naughty show, dude. Like, parents weren't into letting us watch this shit, but this is like Married with Children and Simpsons, dude. That was like the best.
Married with Children, I still go back and throw on some old episodes of Married with Children. And I'm like, damn, man, you guys really you captured something, a moment in time like nothing else really could. And it's just
Yeah.
fucking beautiful.
Fox, dude, was like the edgy network, and they were doing like edgy things. And like Bart said, "Damn," you're like, "Oh,
In living color.
oh,
Do,
the color."
do, in living color. Yeah, dude. In living color is great. You're right. Fox was the rebel network that was kind of going against NBC, ABC, and CBS. You're more traditional, family friendly content, whereas this was painting The Simpsons was almost taking aim at all of those things that the
Yeah,
other networks represented, a strict morality to this or to that. Like you said, not saying damn on television. It's a kid show, tackling some bigger issues at times. And they really just ran with it and they weren't even afraid to like put the finger in the face of Fox at the same time,
yeah.
That's what Fox let these creative people do creative things and saw people coming to something that was new and it was fresh and it was different and it was South Park in, 97 or whatever it was. It was completely out of nowhere. And The Simpsons said by this point, this is season 3. They already did the Tracy Ullman thing for a little while, I think, and then got their full run show and are still on the air today, which is wild. But it's still all right. Like, I've gone back and watched some of the recent stuff, and I'm like, man, all right, yeah, you guys are doing fine. It's not bad.
My
But
kid's on a binge right now, dude. He's never heard of The Simpsons before. I watched Treehouse of Terror with him, and now he's like all about Simpsons, dude. He's watching it from episode 1.
oh, dude, Treehouse of Horrors, Gunder Snatch, or
That's
wait,
what I said.
Gusher Vag, Gushin Vag, Gushin.
Gugina. Gugina. Go ahead, let it get it.
Gugina.
Gugina.
Little balls on the screen that's like goo giant.
Gugina.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gugina and the number 69.
So anyway, The Simpsons are and have been a staple of pop culture for so many years now. It's almost unbelievable. And the fact that it's still doing it, but back here we had people like Conan O'Brien and shit writing on this stuff. And anything that runs for that long is going to have ups and downs, no matter what. This is a really good up era of The Simpsons. Like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is kind of a great little era of like, man, that's really good stuff. And even in the beginning, even though it was very, oh, hey, Marge, how you doing? It was very crude. I shouldn't say very crude, but it was more crude. Oh, that first episode's so good where they get Santa's little helper though from the dog track and shit, man. They knew how to show up, like show that these are real people who have real feelings, even though dad's an asshole who gambled away all the money or whatever. But we're here to talk about these 2 episodes. What was your relationship like with The Simpsons as a kid?
I was like everybody else, dude. I was on board. I had a Bart Simpson fucking like backpack. Him writing on the chalkboard, like I will not do whatever. And yeah, I looked forward to this every single year. Like I liked The Simpsons, but I loved the Treehouse of Horror, And it was at a time when there was not a lot of like networks were slowing down on the Halloween specials. So you didn't get as many. That's what I loved when South Park came in and started doing Halloween specials again. That fucking I fell in love with it.
Yeah, dude. The Jack and Crack one where they all just go fucking smoke crack and drink Jack Daniels, Randy and all his buddies, and accidentally summon a witch. And they bring her back. Oh, that's such a good episode.
The one that fucked me up is I was going as the Crow that year. I had the whole costume and everything, and I was like, this is gonna be legit, dude. I'm gonna like I made stencils for the eyes and everything. And then that was the year that South Park took the piss out of it, and like Satan went as the Crow to a party so he could get laid. I was like,
oh no. I'm gonna have to wait 30 years till this is cool again, and they ruin it with a fucking remake that everybody hates.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Oh shit. But so like the rest of us, the video games, I remember the NES games.
Oh, dude, that arcade game, dude.
Fire. The arcade.
Lost so many quarters in that thing, dude.
Who did you like to play as?
Bart, always.
See, I want to say, what did Marge with her vacuum
She had
cleaner.
the vacuum, dude. Yeah, she was
A little
good.
bit of range on it. Yeah, it was all right. But you're right. Great game. And even the NES games, a ton of fun. Simpsons Mania. You're getting, toys in your Happy Meal, your fucking Burger King meal, whatever it is. The Simpsons everything, dude. It's all over the place. But like you, I waited for this time of the year, and it always broke my heart when it fell after Halloween.
I know, me too.
It was usually the World Series or something. I don't know what it was that would always interrupt it, but there was something that would happen. But no, because the World Series, you think it'd be every year, same time, but something would interrupt it. Possibly the election stuff. I don't
Oh, yeah,
know.
it could be the
Every
debate.
4 years. Yeah. But either way, these ones both fell before Halloween. I loved, like you said, anything TV, Halloween related, specials or anything like that. If I could get it, I wanted to get it. So let's jump into this one. Unlike a traditional Simpsons episode where you get that beautiful Danny Elfman, this opens up like, and you get, the tombstones. There's always funny tombstones with different names on them that you would sit there and watch for. You'd be like, oh, this has got to happen. And so you read these things, and The Simpsons notorious for its couch gags. And in this one, we get skeletons. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Which
skeletons.
I still have a magnet, dude, of them as skeletons on the couch on my refrigerator.
I think I have a magnet, maybe of Itchy and Scratchy on my tattoo box, my tattoo fill box.
Scratchy. Great.
Oh, Itchy and Scratchy really are great. So we open up with Homer coming in like Alfred Hitchcock when he would do Hitchcock Presents. You'd get the silhouette and all that shit.
Love it.
And he warns the audience. He says, hey, there might be some of you out there, some religious types and people like that, who may find this offensive. So put your kids to bed. And he's like, put them to bed. And he's like, I dare you to do it. Go ahead, turn the channel off. And the screen goes black. And you hear Marge and Homer talking, and she's like, he's like, look, I'll put my hand on this Bible and swear that I'm telling you the truth or something. And she's like, Homer, that's a thing of carpet samples. That's where, the Simpsons has always shined. It just these little jokes here and there. But in the Treehouse of Horrors, and the older I got, I realized that they were taking things that I already loved. Maybe I didn't even know that I loved them at that time the way that I love them now, but taking things that I loved or would someday love and just taking it and turning it on its head a little bit. And that's always cool. And you would always get 3 segments in the Treehouse of Horrors with usually an interweaving story that would show up between different things. And I think in this one, we show up, they're having the party.
Yeah, the Halloween party. It's raining outside. Which always fucking sucked when it was raining on Halloween.
Right. Oh, we had some rainy ones, dude. Some cold and very, very rainy ones. And Marge is doing that game like, here's the hair. Here's the graves.
Yeah, worst Halloween game ever.
Sorry, I'm trying to look over. So yes, worst Halloween game, and somebody comes in and ruins it. And Grandpa is there as well. And Grandpa has a bunch of funny fucking lines throughout this entire thing. If you haven't seen this, you should absolutely watch it. But they decide we're going to tell ghost story. And Lisa's like, I got a story for you. And she's like, it's about a doll. And Bart's like, that's not scary. And she's like, from hell. So we're getting, like you had said, the hell stuff, some of the heavier kind of themes already. And montage to Bart's birthday. Everybody's there. Grandpa gives him a bunch of money. He's like, wow, Grandpa, thanks. Where'd you get all the money? He's like, I didn't earn it, or like some shit. The government, they'll send it to me. And if they don't, I'll go crazy. Like, I didn't earn it. I don't want it. But if they don't send it, I'm going to go nuts. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then Homer immediately confesses. It's like, I didn't get you anything, kid, but I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to go get some right now. So he goes to, I can't remember the name of it. I think I wrote it down. The House of Evil. It's like the House of Evil Emporium and meets this.
Essentially like Needful Things.
A mix between Needful Things and the old man shop from Gremlins.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna put two things together. And he's like, oh, everything in here is cursed, but you get free yogurt. But the yogurt is cursed, but it comes with sprinkles. Sprinkles are cursed. And then he's like, it comes with benzo something or other. And Homer just stands there and doesn't do nothing. He's like, that's bad. He's like, oh.
Oh, totally.
But anyway, he gives him this Krusty the Clown doll, a pull string doll. Bart gets it. Jumpin' Jiminy Christmas or something, he's so excited about this Krusty the Clown talking doll, which I saw they're selling replicas right now at Target, like full size of this doll with the drawstring that says the mean shit. Then it's like, I don't like you. Yeah, it is good. Um, but Bart's he's all excited about it, but we quickly learn that the doll is evil and intent on killing Homer. This is a throwback to season 5 of The Twilight Zone, the episode The Living Doll, about Talkie Tina, which I do have a replica doll of that talks all the bad stuff that I've had for probably 10, 15 years now. It's crazy, but yeah, it's actually in Annabelle's room. She just likes to sleep with it on her dresser.
You're raising Wednesday Adams, dude.
I'm talking. Shane always tells her we wear black on Wednesday. Her other little girl at her school did it. It was adorable. But the doll in this was a little girl's doll, very similar. I don't like you. I'm going to kill you. And we're seeing a lot of that. We get a Nightmare on Elm Street nod in there while Homer's in the bath. And Krusty comes up out of the bath. He goes running by. Patty and Selma and Marge are eating, and Homer's ass naked goes running through the kitchen. And I can't remember if it's Patty or Selma. So it's like, there goes the last glimmering hope of my heterosexuality, or something along those lines. I'm like, yeah, like it goes back that far. It's good. He takes the doll and chains it up and throws it into a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
There's some gangsters that come, and then there's dude walks up. He's like, I thought somebody would have wanted nudes of Whoopi Goldberg, and he throws them into the bottomless pit, and then the news just come flying back out like not that one. So they call Krusty Incorporated or whatever and send out a technician. He's like, smoking a cigarette. Somebody put the doll to evil instead of good. And he turns it on. The doll, it's like, I love you, Homer. Come here, you. And they just start to snuggle up quite a bit. And then he becomes Homer's little slave, bringing him beers. And he's got a house with Malibu Stacy that he hangs out in, or I guess lives at, and her head ends up.
Comes home all like tired and shit. He hangs his coat up. He's like,
Homer made me rub his feet.
but at least I get to come home to you, baby. And then fucking head comes off.
Exactly, dude. That was exactly it. And I think that was kind of it. That wraps up that one. We go to get another story from Grandpa, which I think this one is cool because I think it was Grandpa that told the story, but it's King Homer, and it's a love letter to 1933's King Kong. Pretty straightforward. You've got Mr. Burns, who's on the adventure looking for a single white female who happens to like monkeys. And there was a line in there when they're on the boat where, who is it? Not Burns, but somebody says something about women and semen not mixing.
Yeah, it was his assistant.
Oh, you're right. That's I can't.
Questionable heterosexuality.
Not questionable. He's been out, and I don't know why I can't think of his name off the top of my head. That's terrible too, because he's an important Simpsons character. But hey,
Smithers, isn't it?
Smithers, there you go. Smithers, come here. You're right. So it is Smithers. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
They get to Skull Island and they call out King Homer, who gets like hit in the head, and it's like, don't across the island. He comes up. Falls in love with Marge. They've got her tied up. She's screaming, like picks her up and is tickling his nose with her hair and stuff like that. And then he's like, and she's like, oh, help me. And then I love Burns trying to throw the grenade with his limp wrist. Yeah, go through the smoke.
That's my favorite, dude.
Every time. Every time Burns tries to do anything physical, it makes me laugh. So they do end up gassing him enough to get him back to New York. Just like in the 33 version, he's going to climb the Empire State Building and he's trying his ass off, but he's only like 2 floors up, covered in sweat. And he has fallen off with Marge in his hand, just like, yeah, down. And then I don't remember how did that one, I don't even know if I think that might have been the end of it right there, which
Yeah,
would
they don't even do like the planes or anything.
no, they did some of the planes, yeah, because he couldn't get up there fast enough. And the planes are like, we're gonna go refuel. Looks like it's gonna be a while on the monkey getting up here. So the last one is Dial Z for Zombies, which is a nod to Hitchcock's, of course, Dial M for Murder, which is fantastic in its own right in a lot of really good ways. This is Bart is trying to do a book report on like C Spot Run or some shit, and Krabappel tells him you got to go find a different book. You can't do that. It's stupid. And so he goes to the library, but finds a section that he's never seen before, the occult section. It's got skulls and bones all over it and black drapes and stuff. And he finds this book and he gets interested in it. And he says, "Oh, Lisa, come on, I'm going to raise the dead or something like that." Or they're going to bring back maybe her cat, try to bring back Snowball One.
Oh, one, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, they end up at the graveyard and raising the dead. And the dead are coming up everywhere. They get back to the house. They're like, "Dad, you got to help us. You got to help us." He's like, "You wrecked the car?" "No." "Did you raise the dead?" "Yes." "But the car's okay." "Yes." "Okay." And he just goes back to watching television. They get the plan that they have to go back to the library, I believe somewhere around this point. They have to go back to the library and find another book to do the reverse spell. But on the way out of the house, Homer shoots Flanders with a shotgun, shoots zombie Flanders. And they're like, "Dad, you just shot zombie Flanders." And he's like, "Zombie?" Great line, dude. A great line. So they get to the library. He turns Lisa into a snail first after we get a lot of shenanigans throughout. Oh, that was a good line too. Zombies they prefer to be called the living impaired. Like, dude, that's a good one. Um, and then yeah, and there was one quick scene that was very much the Twilight Zone. The monsters are due on Maple Street, which is an episode season 2, I want to say, where these aliens are controlling things down on Earth and watching shit happen and seeing how things unfold. And then you get Krang and Kronos like, "Oh, ha 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 ha, stupid Earthlings, ha 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 ha." And then we reverse the spell, and I believe we get then something about there's a TV something in there, like they're watching TV, like thing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing could turn us into zombies or some shit like that, and they turn into these kind of guys. So yeah, that was
My favorite thing of the zombie thing is when the zombies are all attacking and they come up to Homer and they're like brains.
oh right.
They just like roll out because they're like nothing here.
Rattle his nugget around a little bit. Oh, that's good ice water, man. Drink more water. We should all just drink more water.
I'll toast to that.
Yeah, I'll toast. Cheers, water.
Gugina.
So, Gugina. Oh, Gugina. So, this one you're going to have to kind of lead us through here because you watched it very recently. I'll help you out a little bit because some of these I do remember well. But episode 4 of Treehouse of Horrors aired on October 28th, 1993. So at this time, I was 11. Perfect. Just, yeah, this is perfect prime formational youth that has established a lot of my views and beliefs as a human being stem
Right.
from these episodes. And we'd record them, on VHS and then go back and watch them over and over and over again all throughout the Halloween season. And it was always super cool. So this the couch gag I did read was zombies. I don't remember how the zombies come in, but I do remember the winding story of Bart as the Rod Serling character doing Night Gallery.
Yeah.
And even though Night Gallery was something, it's kind of people are on both sides about how invested Serling was in it at the time and stuff like that, just because of who had control of this and that and the other. But the idea was really cool, is he would introduce each episode with a painting, as opposed to him standing there like he did on the Twilight Zone, imagine if you will. He would be like, oh, tell you a little story, and then you'd have this painting, and then you would do a cool dissolve into the painting and start. And we get that with Bart throughout. He gives us our 1, 2, 3 stories, with the first being one of my favorites as a kid, the devil in Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And we do get the warning in this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember who Bart did.
It's asleep.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Put your kids to sleep and make sure anybody who might be scared. And when we're kids, we're like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, amazing. And so we get the devil in Homer, Ned Flanders being the devil character. I can't remember how he gets to he'd sell a soul for a donut, but it's something really stupid.
So it opens up with him and he's dreaming and he's at a fashion show and this donut has like sexy legs and he's you just see the legs at first and it slowly pans up and the woman's body is a donut and Homer's like, "Ooh." And then he fucking like wakes up and his buddies that work at the power plant with them have eaten all of his donuts. And so there's nothing left. They were like, "Well, you were dreaming. We ate your donuts." And he's like, "All of them?" And he's like, "Well, not all of them. We threw a couple of them at this old man." And then it cuts to Grandpa being attacked by crows, and he's got donuts. You damn kids!
So then he's like, I'd sell my soul for a donut. And that's when Devil Flanders pops up.
Yep.
Okay. I will trade you your soul, sign right here, da 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 da. And he just smashes the donut, he might
He's
even
like,
say like
just so you know, when you finish this donut, and he's like,
right, right. I don't think it's in this episode, but I do remember an episode where he's in some kind of hell and they just keep shoveling donuts in his mouth. And he's
"That's in
just
this episode."
like, yeah, more please, more please, more please, more please.
Yeah, so he's got one little chunk left, and he's like, "Wait a minute, if I don't eat this chunk, you can't have my soul, right?" And he's like, "Well, technically." And he's like, "I'm smarter than the devil. I'm smarter than the devil."
But then we get the trial between the devil and Homer Simpson. And I think his lawyer what's his name? Phil Hartman's character, Lionel Hutz.
Yeah,
Was it Lionel Hutz? Might have been in hell with him. I love Lionel Hutz as the man, Phil Hartman. Oh,
good dude.
too soon, dude. He's so good. And he could have kept doing it but you know what? He blessed us with all of his great hilarity that he threw all over television and movies and voice work and all that good shit. So Phil Hartman, we love you. But anyway, they have the trial, but it turns out that his soul already belonged to Marge because he had written it on a donut, or not on a donut,
Like a
potato.
cocktail napkin or something.
Yeah, something at their wedding, like, yeah, my soul is too. And so therefore Homer could not have. But I want to say even when he goes back, he's like, or no, he has a donut head. When
Yeah.
he gets
And Marge is like, "Stop picking at it," and he's like, "But I'm so delicious."
And then next up we have Terror at 5.5 feet. This one I remember really vividly. This is a great take on Terror or Nightmare at 20,000 feet from the Twilight Zone, with William Shatner losing his mind about there's something on the wing, doing that whole thing. And it's really a powerful episode. It's super cool.
Not forget, remade by John Lithgow in the movie Twilight Zone.
Which he played that really good too. He
Yeah,
played
he did.
frantic, panicked kind of guy. But I think it's more fun to watch Shatner with people smoking cigarettes and stuff in the plane. Like, God, do you need a pill? But swapped the plane out for the school bus driven by Otto and the Shatner character by Bart. And now we have Bart versus this gremlin who is trying to take the lug nuts out of the wheels, trying to take the wheels off of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bart has a nightmare that the wheels are going to fall off the bus and everybody dies. And so then he's on the actual bus, and this little gremlin is like scraping his little nails on the lug nuts, and they're coming off one at a time. He's biting into the brake cables and everything. He's doing everything he can to destroy this bus.
That's right. He's doing his thing. And I don't remember a lot of the details. I just remember that it ends very much like the Twilight Zone, but you had Principal Skinner and maybe Superintendent Chalmers or someone like that they're like, oh, we're going to get you some psychiatric help, boy. But then in this version, the gremlin is still alive and has got Skinner's head.
Yeah, yeah. Holds it up. But I love in this, Millhouse is sitting with him and he's trying to get Millhouse to like see this creature, and Millhouse keeps missing it by like 1 second. And then he's like, "You're my buddy, right? You believe me, right, Millhouse?" And he's like, "Actually, you're kind of freaking me out. I'm gonna go sit with the foreign exchange kid." And there's like a kid from Sweden eating all these snacks, and he's like, "Would you like a lick of my lollipop?"
Chocolates. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that kid, they wind up restraining Bart because Bart freaks out, and the foreign
The
exchange kid is sitting
seatbelt, right? Do they got seatbelts
there.
all over him? Yes. Okay.
And then the kid's like, "Well, you want to lick of my lolly?" And Bart does it, and it's like he's all, ugh. He's like, "All right, we're friends now, right? Maybe you can untie me." And he's like, "Oh yeah." And he lets Bart out, and then Bart like opens the window and almost gets sucked out. Like all the kids are like, "Ah!"
Just like in the show.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
But he
freaking
doesn't, because in the show, they take a shot at him with a gun, is how they both try and get the gremlin. I don't know how Bart tried to do it, but I love that, that's in there and that's part of it because the people writing this grew up on that shit.
yeah,
And the thing about Rod Serling is he wrote human stories so much of the time, or had the ability to find stories that were, I don't want to, I mean, just of a higher caliber, that touched on different levels and weren't just kind of pulp stories, shit that would kind of last the test of time, for lack of a better word. But yes, super cool episode or segment. And then you get the Bart Simpson's Dracula, which right around this time was Bram Stoker's that we would get with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves, Winona
just did
Ryder.
it. It's Bram Stoker, but
Bram,
I always said Bram Stroker,
Bram
and you
Stoker.
just said Bram Stroker.
I even have it written down here as Stoker's, but yeah, Stroker. I don't know. I can't help it.
That Gary Oldman shit, dude. That Francis Ford Coppola and Gary Oldman, that was crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it was intense, and they're playing on that in this. But we have Mr. Burns playing the Dracula character, and they're going to his estate for some reason. Bart ends up getting bit, and he's a vampire for a little while.
Yeah, he's like the Keanu Reeves character.
Right.
Side note, I just listened to a podcast with Johnny Knoxville. He was Keanu Reeves' stunt double on that Dracula movie.
Really?
Yeah, and they did everything in camera. So like when he's being shaved and shit, that's we're looking at the face of Keanu Reeves, but it's Johnny Knoxville's body that Gary Oldman is doing the shaving on. Weird, right?
Cool. It's cool. I like it knowing that Knoxville was in Dracula.
Yeah.
So Bart tries to convert Lisa to the Dracula, to the dark sides, and they end up determining, very Dracula lore, that if we kill Burns, that will free Bart from his nightmare
Right.
and everything he's got going on. And I want to say they're even floating around a little bit, like Burns is kind of floaty or some shit. I really wish I could have rewatched this. I feel like I owe everybody listening to this that, and I am sorry for that. I apologize to you, just you listening. I know who you are.
That one guy
I apologize.
there in his underwear,
Right.
eating nacho cheese is dripping on his belly and running down, and he's like, "Man, you guys really let me down."
It's one of my favorite episodes of South Park is Make Love Not Warcraft, where that dude keeps brushing the Doritos as they're playing World of Warcraft. Anyway, they kill Burns, And then Lisa, I think, like wakes up from her nightmare, and it turns out that the whole family is vampires, and it was Marge the entire time. Very Lost Boys. We get this twist at the end. You thought you had the head vampire, but the head vampire was actually Marge the entire time. And then they break the fourth wall and like, happy Halloween, everybody. And I think they even start doing, is this the one where they do the Christmas humming at the end? Yeah, so they even bring in the peanuts into that one.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like somebody's dancing weird in the background.
Yeah, like the peanuts. Do do
Yeah.
do do do. But this is the Christmas part. And that is how it feels though. You go immediately from Halloween directly into Christmas.
Dude, right now, if you go to like Home Depot or it's at Lowe's, they have a ton of Christmas shit on one side of the aisle and Halloween on the other. It makes me want to fucking barf.
Like the companion from Spaceballs.
You have to choose, but choose wisely.
Yeah.
Horrible, dude. I don't want my Glee next to my horror. That's horse shit.
But you can have some great Christmas horror movies. Some great Christmas horror movies.
Like,
before we move on, let's
yeah.
wrap up The Simpsons.
Yep.
So for episode 3, out of 5 treehouses of horror, how many do you give out of 5?
Are we what are we comparing this to? Are we only comparing it to other treehouses of horror?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't do that to me.
Are we comparing it to The Simpsons? Are we comparing it to all things in the universe?
We're comparing it to. Not you stumped me. I have nothing. I have nothing we can compare this to now. We're just gonna stay here doing dead air. To other Treehouse of Horrors that you've seen, I guess, and remember, it's hard to, I guess, rate them. Okay, out of a good time, a good Halloween special time, how many out of 5 do you give The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors episode 3? And episode 3 was The Clown Without Pity, so we get the awesome killer clown, Dial, Z for Zombie, and King Homer.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4. And I'm going to say the weakest segment for me is King Homer. Because to me, King Kong doesn't say Halloween.
Right. But it was era trying to bring in a scary story and something they could, use that was familiar. But I'm with you. I think it's a solid 4 episode just because I know there's a 5 episode in my mind. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's when Homer goes into the hole in the wall, like the Twilight Zone episode or the Poltergeist, and becomes the 3D model and ends up in the world with erotic cakes. And he's like, I'm going to be sucked into a black hole. I should have read that hook by that wheelchair guy. And it's so good. And the animation was so different at the time. It stuck with me. I'm with you. I give this one a 4 out of 5. The Krusty the Clown doll is just so good and iconic. And then the zombies are a ton of fun. Every time he kills Flanders, I laugh my ass off. And Grandpa throughout the whole thing. Because even with the doll, Grandpa says some shit like, it's evil, evil. Marge is like, Grandpa, you said all the presents are evil. And he's like, I just want to be heard. Or some shit like that.
I love Grandpa.
Okay, so for episode 4, this was The Devil and Homer Simpsons. This is our donut episode or our donut segment. Terror at 5.5 feet. Bart with the school bus, and then Bart Simpson's Dracula, which is a take on Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Very good. Not Stroker. That will be my name in the future.
Stroke it.
I will give this one. This one for me is a solid all the way through. Every segment hits, and I'm going to give it 4.5.
I'm with you there. You keep taking my things, dude. I don't know why you keep doing that to me. But Gush Geyser, Gush Giner, Goo Giner,
Vagina.
Gina, not Giner. It's not Giner, it's Gina. Gina. All right, so we've got a 4 and a 4.5 for the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors episode 3 and 4. Both fantastic episodes. Man, I went up to see my mom yesterday.
Oh yeah, tell the audience what happened because they don't know.
Oh yeah, because they haven't watched it yet. Well, they kind of know because we talked about it on the last one, but I did get a chance to go up and actually see them because on the last one we talked about the accident, but now they're both out of surgery. My mom, a ton of surgery. My
Had to have surgery. I didn't even hear this.
Are you sure? I thought we, but yeah.
You didn't even fucking totally say it was an accident. You were just like, I got this thing on my phone, and I was like, Mom's dead.
Right, which I knew they were okay and people were up there. I'm pretty sure I shared that part. But yes, he ended up with plates in his arms,
Well,
pins in his pelvis. She had, and they both had fractured ribs. I don't remember how many each had. And then she got a pretty good bump on the head, but then internally was like busted up a whole bunch all over the place. But we've been handling it pretty good. We've been taking care of everything. I actually called the insurance this morning, got all that squared away so that the triage nurse has it to get them discharged to the proper rehabs. My brothers are already like, hey, if we got to go out and build a ramp out at the house, if somebody's got to be a wheelchair for a while, don't worry about it. It'll take us half a day. Me and my buddy will go out there and do it. My sister was just up there all day today, seeing both of them, which the hospital, the staff that I met is super cool. It's a great facility. I got to see my buddy Mike when I was up there, which was totally rad. Michael is from my pharma days, and he actually works at the hospital there, but for the foundation, raising money and things like that. But we sat and chatted for a little while, and I got to see them, but they're pretty banged up, man. It's tough.
was it a single car, or did they hit another car? What happened?
I still don't know all the details on the actual accident.
Dang.
It wasn't a single car though. Somebody hit them. From what it looks like, somebody hit them. But again, I don't know anything for sure. But they were both pretty beat up on heavy pain meds and stuff like that. But it was nice to see him. Went up there, chatted, and then we're just gonna try and get him home as quickly as possible and start whatever it takes to get them good and leveled out, in some sort of way. Because man, they've been there since last Thursday.
Jeez.
So
Long hospital stays kind of suck balls.
they do. But at least, when I was in the hospital, I'm really grateful. I had my own room, had Band of Brothers on AMC because it was Labor Day. Except I fell asleep the last episode. I'm still mad. I haven't gone back and watched that. But it started at 11 in the morning and didn't end until, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, or something like that. It's just so sleepy. So sleepy. And I did get a hold of, which is good news, my neurology department today. So they should be getting a hold of me this week to get scheduled if everything goes as planned. I just want to get started, whatever it is, And I even told the lady, I'm always very kind. I try to be as kind as I can to the people on the other end of that phone because I know how it is for them most of the time with people hollering and yelling. I've been in enough doctors' offices where it's like, this just isn't a good time for anybody. So I'm like, look, I'm sorry I'm bothering you and shit. She's like, oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I said, I'm just really eager to get my treatment started. Everything I've been reading says start treatment right away. What are the options? What can we do? And her and I talked for a while and she resolved a lot of things. And hopefully I'll be hearing from somebody relatively quickly and then get in there, get whatever they got to do started and start on the treatment path, whatever treatment looks like.
What if treatment is all ass play, dude? Are you still going to be like, man, I really wanted it to go fast? I just left you speechless, bro. Sorry. Sorry. The way you looked at me, dude, you were like, I want to fucking punch you through the computer.
It wasn't even that. I honestly couldn't come up with any sort of rebuttal to what you just said. It caught me so off guard. If that's what it took, if it'll help with this stuff, help me tattoo again, I'll do whatever it takes. It don't matter. So yeah, I hope to get in with them soon though. That'll be cool. Be able to get that ball rolling. And we've been doing, actually, before I get to the sign off part, I was thinking about like, damn, what are we going to bring to the mindfulness part of today? And I knew I was going to update, on my parents and shit like that and the MS stuff, but I couldn't really think of anything. It's just been a long couple days. I was on the road for 4 hours yesterday, going back and forth, and then up there, for a good 3-4 hours. So I came in and I just looked I got a Mr. Rogers mug over here. And on the one side, look at that face, that beautiful Fred Rogers. Hello, neighbor. How are you today? Yeah, I like you just the way you are, neighbor. But there's a quote out there.
It's real creepy.
You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. Your mind, our minds are limitless, truly limitless in their potential for what they can do, usually in one way or the other, destructive or positive.
Yeah, your mind can make you sick. It can also make you healthy.
Right. The people that I feel for the most, I feel like are the people who just hover right in the middle and feel like, oh, it's, don't it? Gugina, great Gugina. It's one of the middle hoverers.
Yeah,
You kind
most
of
of the
float
days I'm
in like
just
one
dragging my
way.
feet through the mud.
When you're going one way, like you'll be up a little bit, then down a little bit, and then up a little bit, and then down a little bit, and then up a little bit, and then down a little bit. But our minds give us the ability, if you just sit with it, learn to sit with it, do almost really anything. There's certain physical shit you won't be able to do if you're, 5'2", dunking a basketball. You could get a trampoline, jump off a trampoline and dunk a ball on a regulation size rim. There are ways you could do it, but you're probably not going to be a professional, basketball player who dunks all the time. It's just not probably going to happen. However, being in control, not even in control, but friends with your mind and your consciousness, I guess, because we're still stumped at what the fuck is consciousness? What,
Right.
what is it? What does it do? Does it come? Does it flow? Is it all connected? Is it not? Is it individual? Who knows? But the more we become friends with our mind, the better I feel we are equipped to grow cool shit out of our mind. If it's a healthy play, a nice park and something like that, if it don't look like the oblongs and shit, that old cartoon where they were all fucked up living with toxic waste. This is a nice, garden or something like that where you're free to kind of express things and explore ideas and try stuff and you have the energy for things like that. But when our mind garden, when we plant shit, you get shit flowers.
The shit tree.
You're gonna grow a shit tree, dude. And then somebody's gonna come to sit under it and it's gonna rain down shit all over them. And
What
nobody's
is shit tree all over me?
that tree just shit on me. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
is so take some time to get to know your mind. And for a lot of people, though, I feel like we live in a culture where we don't want to be with ourselves. We don't want to have to face our
Distractions to keep from being with ourselves.
tons of distractions. And I'm somebody who likes distractions. No one is immune from distractions. I think it's the relationship with and how I think anything can be useful. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things can be useful, even if someone else might qualify them as a distraction. So I think you have to dig a little deeper and say, okay, what counts as a distraction and what doesn't? What is leading me toward my goal and what is not? Even if there's got to be times for relaxation and doing things that are just nothing, sitting and doing a whole lot of nothing, but
Sure.
grow your mind garden.
Don't let assholes plant shit seeds in your garden because they will.
Don't let anyone in your garden to begin with. And then you don't have to worry about anyone planting seeds.
Well, sometimes I get lonely in my garden and I want someone to come, I don't know, frolic with me.
No, I don't.
Come, Pops, go sleep, frolic with me in my garden. The only rule is no clothes.
Come along with me. I
Look
was,
at that hole. Let's go climb in it.
why is the tree pooing on me? This is my shit
Hey,
land.
shit, man, welcome.
No, I would say don't let people in your garden who can plant bad shit. Your garden is your own little, because you're the only person who has to carry it around all day anyway. If you let somebody just like throw shit at you and then you don't wipe it off, that's kind of on you. It's how you respond to it.
100% is on you.
Yeah, people are going to want to, what? That's a good analogy. People are going to want to sneak into your garden and plant shit seeds It's
Yep.
up to you to tend your garden enough, your mind garden, your spirit garden, your emotional garden, whatever, to tend it enough to notice, like, hey, there's a shit weed growing. I'm going to pull it and get rid of it instead of letting grow into a shit tree.
That's beautiful, man.
Where it's cool, man. I feel like the universe put me in this place, wasn't always the biggest fan of YouTube, still not the biggest fan of some areas of YouTube, but the same could be said for anything. I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of movies, but there's a lot of bad shit that goes on in movies that's really gross. And the industry as a whole, just that power, corruption. Yeah, movies, music, politics, all of it. It's people in positions of power using it to do fucked up shit to other human beings. And bleh.
Yeah.
But we've gotten a really good response from the first episode we put up on YouTube. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to that. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Please, if you haven't, share it with somebody if you can. I don't know, somebody who likes horror movies and maybe could use a little bit of mindfulness in their life. It's a weird. It's something I think there is a market for it. There's somebody out there. So if you can, share it with somebody. If not, thanks again for hanging out, being here. This has been the Horror Pop Extravaganza, episode 49. We'll be back next week for the Big 50. So this has got to be a good Halloween episode right here. What do you want to do for?
Want to let the people know what we have coming, or is it a surprise?
Maybe we could release it like a week in advance. We could, put out a little something on the social medias. If you're not checking.
Got something exciting brewing for you guys, one way or another. Pops Ghostly isn't ready to pop that little ghost yet, but it's gonna be big.
My little big baby, 10 pounds. That's a big little ghosty. I love my little. So yeah, well, I guess we'll wait on that one.
We got a Facebook, we got an Instagram, and we got a YouTube, and we would like you to all go and visit that shit at the Horror Pop Extravaganza Podcast.
Yes, and I think I put the Facebook and the YouTube I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying. But they had a place to add some links, and I know I could add the Facebook, but I still got to add the Instagram, and the email is on there as well, or on here.
The whole thing doing this social media thing, man. It's like it could be a full-time job.
It is for some people. That's all they do, dude.
I'm just scrolling for the people, dude, looking for horror funny, and I'm posting that shit. So if you like horror and funny, check it out.
That is what we do, dude. Horror and funny and
breathing.
And breathing. All right, for the Horror Pop Extravaganza, episode 49, I've been Pops Ghostly.
And I'm Greg Gugina.
And we will chat at you next week.
Gugina.
Stop.
No! No! No!
Extravaganza.